friends, hello, it's your old pal SVH here with another Daily Nugget coming at you on January 2nd, 2021. And today, I think we're going to make that number two have more meaning to it because we're going to do two Daily Nuggets today. I'm going to hit you with two little nuggets of wisdom because I read one that I kind of had in place for today, and then I read another one that I felt was really just fitting to the time we're in right now, and it actually is yesterday's Bolosaki, so it's the Bolosaki for January 1st, but since I did the Bolosaki the day before that, I didn't even look at that yesterday, but as I read it today, I was like, oh, yesterday's was really fitting for today even, so I'm going to share a couple little tidbits with you here, starting with the Bolosaki for January 1st, and it goes as follows. As water in a fountain flows as one stream, but falls in many drops, divided by time and space, so are the revelations of the one stream of truth. As water in a fountain flows as one stream, but falls in many drops, divided by time and space, so are the revelations of the one stream of truth. So yeah, I felt like this was a good one to share today for a couple different reasons. This really, again, sums up a lot of what I do in my work and my path is that I like to take things from many different streams of consciousness and many different traditions and really look at the unity of it all and look at the one stream that flows behind it all. And that's what really drew me to my path of Sufism so much is because we really, it really is a path that unites all religions and all different belief states, and it's really just a path of truth. And truth has many different streams that it flows down, but it all meets at one big ocean in time and space at some point. So I really like that. As water in a fountain flows as one stream, but falls in many drops, divided by time and space, so are the revelations of the one stream of truth. So yeah, I just really like that. I feel also too, just as we're working together as a collective channel, as collective individuals online trying to share some information and spread truth with each other, it's all going to come in different drops. So there's going to be different drops of information, but it really all comes from one stream if it's truly truth. So I just thought that was a very fitting one to share. I could go on and on about this one in particular, but I just felt like I wanted to share it even though it was yesterday's, dated for yesterday. I felt it was very fitting for today. So that was the bowl of sake from Hazrat Inayat Khan for January 1st. Read it one more time. As water in a fountain flows as one stream, but falls in many drops divided by time and space, so are the revelations of the one stream of truth. I guess that leads me to say one more thing about it. The different prophets and the different messengers that have come over time. Again, those are, they brought it at a time and a place where it was necessary. At the time of Christ, it had to be the message of Christ. At the time of Muhammad, it had to be the message of Muhammad. Peace be upon them all. I think that this is really important and something to understand that, there's a really great saying that, God's gifts are for everyone, so it doesn't rain in one land alone. It doesn't only rain in one country because God's gifts are for all people. So it's the same with the rain and, the different things that the sun and the rain and the moon, the things that are nourishing to us, they're not only just for one group of people over here, they're for everybody. So there has to be those different streams of truth or those different drops to reach that one stream of truth. So that's all I'm going to say about it. Okay, so moving on to the second nugget, because this one I wanted to get into a little deeper. This one comes from the Alchemical Wisdom of Pir Vilayat Inayat Khan. Again, these were little phrases and sayings that he had written down during his time. Again, this was my guide's guide and teacher, and the son of Hazrat Inayat Khan, who's the Pir or the head of our order. The main Pir, we have Pir Zia now, who's our Pir and leader, his grandson. But Murshid, certainly started the stream of truth that we all follow, or the order that we're part of. So anyway, this was his son, Pir Vilayat Inayat Khan. Again, these were sayings and things that were written down by his students, one of his students in particular, as he would travel and speak and lecture and things like that. And eventually they became little cards called the Alchemical Wisdom Cards. I think about 3 or 4 years ago, about 3 or 4 years ago, they put this into book form, which you can get at omegapub.com. I'll put the link in the description down below. But today when I opened this up, this really jumped out at me. This is a topic that's been kind of, I think, on a lot of our minds lately. So I'll read it and you tell me. Think of yourself as a soul instead of a person. Think of yourself as a soul instead of a person. So, there's a lot I could say about this one in particular, but really we are soul, we are spirit, and we are God. We are connected to that one divine source, and we are part of that. So you think of God as the sun, and then the rays of the sun that come off, they're still a part of the sun. It's still connected to the sun, and it streams from the sun. And we're those individual rays, those individual illuminated souls that are coming from the divine radiance, if you will. Think of yourself as a soul instead of as a person. So what is a person? So I like to sometimes break these things down, especially the really simple ones. I like to break them down by some of the words. So if we're trying to think of ourselves as a soul instead of a person, what is the real definition of a person? Okay. Now, before we had DuckDuckGo, before we had Google, before we had AOL, we had our old friend Webster, which was Webster's Dictionary. So I'll tell you how old I am. We used to get out the Webster Dictionary. So I like to sometimes refer to my old pal Webster to see what he defines, or she, or whoever Webster is, defines these words by the English phoneticism, or whatever they do to get these words meanings. So person, it's a noun, okay? The definition of person, there's about 7 different definitions, and I'm going to read a few of them here. Definition number 1 is human or individual. Human or individual. Sometimes used in combination, especially by those who prefer to avoid man, and compounds applicable to both sexes. As in chairperson, spokesperson. Definition number 2, where it gets interesting. A character or part in or as if in a play. Guise. A character or part in or as if in a play, or a guise. Yeah, that pretty much sums up what person is. There's a couple here that relate to Christianity. One of the 3 modes of being in the Trinitarian Godhead as understood by Christians. One says the unitary personality of Christ that unites the divine and human natures. The next one, archaic, bodily appearance. The body of a human being. The body and clothing. Now again, these are definitions for person, the word person. The personality of a human being or self. Another very interesting one, number 6 here. And this is going to be the one I'm going to latch on to a little bit. 1, such as a human being, a partnership, or a corporation that is recognized by law as the subject of rights and duties. This is another 7, reference of a segment or discourse reference of a segment of discourse to the speaker, to one spoken to, or one spoken of, as indicated by means of certain pronouns, or in many languages by verb inflection. And then they give a couple of references to in person. In person meaning in one's bodily presence. And also they give a reference, the movie star appeared in person. I also find that very interesting. Okay, so let me give a little of my 2 cents on here. When you think of yourself as a soul instead of a person, you're thinking of the higher self, the real self, the true self. The person is the outfit, the clothes, the garb, the instrument that we use. It's the vehicle that the soul uses to have a human existence on this world. And why do we have a human existence? Why do we exist? Well, there's a beautiful Sufi koan that's used that says, I was a hidden treasure longing to be known, so I created the world, therefore that I would be known. So you think of yourself as a hidden treasure. God was a hidden treasure. This energy, this consciousness, this awareness that wanted to know itself and wanted to experience itself. And when there's just the one, you have to find a way for the one to become the many. So in this way, as I explained, we all have our individual note, right? So what does that note make up, though? It makes up the whole grand symphony. And where did that grand symphony come from? It came from the grand composer, the creator. So if you look at common law, and if you understand common law, and I'm by no means an expert about this, I actually just saw a video that Charlie Ward did with another gentleman. I apologize, I forget his name at the moment, but it was really interesting about common law, and they were talking about this very thing, about being a person. When you're a person, you are subject to the laws and the regulations and the things and so on that are posed upon you by birth. When you're given a social security number, when you're given a name, when you're given a birth certificate, you become a commodity, and you become, they actually, from my understanding, they're actually trading us as commodities on the stock market. So really curious what I'm worth on the stock market. Can't be a whole lot, but I'm sure there's probably something I should be scooping up, right? Since it's me, right? I should be entitled to that. But with that being said, we do have individuality, and we do have personalities, and we are people, right? And that's reality. I'm not trying to take away from that reality, but the deeper reality is that we are one, and that we are soul, and that we are spirit. There's another great Sufi saying that, one has a old raggedy coat, so he calls himself poor, but in reality, it's his coat that's poor, not him. So it's the same kind of concept. We are in this body so that we can experience a human life, and so that we can experience what it means to be divine as well. And all of this experience is channeled back through the ray, back to the sun, back to the creator. So we are part of that hidden treasure that was longing to be known, and we're helping that treasure to be known and to be found and to be seen. But that treasure lies in the soul, not really in the person or the garb or the instrument or the outer form or all the things that are subject to, the laws of man. We're subject to the laws of nature and the laws of God. And so when you follow the path of the soul, you are really following your own divinity and your own light and your own guidance, and really working from the inner planes, as well as opposed to seeing your life and your experience and who you are from the outer planes. Obviously we have to do this. We have to live in this world, But another great Sufi saying is, our goal is really inwardly to be with God, outwardly to be with the people. Because we have to live, we have to work, we have to take care of our families, we have to be present to the outer world. But at the same time, we can be internally present to the divine and to the reality of the unity of our soul with the divine soul. And I think really taking yourself to task and doing that really can add a lot. Just by trying to a little bit more every day, just see yourself more as a soul as opposed to a person. Tip your hat off to, salute, cheers to your personality every time you get up in the morning and look at yourself in the mirror. Every time I trim my beard or twist my dreads or something, I'm doing something to the physical form. Of course, I'm trying to maintain my appearance, maintain a status as a guy who tries to take care of himself and have a certain vibe or whatever, and that's the person, that's the personality. But at the same time, it's also a ray of each personality is part of that ray that connects to the divine, right? So that's what makes us unique and makes us individual. and really makes up the beauty of the world. And when you look at the beauty of all the individuals together as one, that's a really beautiful thing, you know. And again, just kind of looking back at a few of these definitions. Definition of person: human or individual. You know, right in the middle of individual is divide. You know, because individuality does divide us from the unity of the one reality. You know, and the more we work to really work on the individual self, a lot of times we become more detached from the unity of the one. That's just the way we've been preconditioned and we've been taught. But the more you dive deep within and you start to see all the unity that is within you, the whole universe is within us. All the answers, all the experience, everything is here because we're a soul, and our soul is part of that divine soul. So again, just kind of playing with a little of these words here. The individual I thought was interesting. I think it's also interesting that person is a character or a part in as of if in a play or a guise. We are totally in a play right now. We are absolutely 100% in a play, and we've been in a play probably most of our lives. I'm 47 years old, and I know for all my life we've been in a play. And for long before I was born, the play was live on Broadway, baby, you know? And so I think it's really interesting that that's the number 2 definition used by the Webster Dictionary for the word person is a character or part in a play. You know, so I'm not a character in the play. I don't want to be an actor. I want to live in reality and live in truth, and that happens on the plane of the soul, just not on a stage. Anyway, that's just a couple thoughts about that. And then the other one that was really interesting is when you get down here to definition number 6. One such as a human being, a partnership or a corporation that is recognized by law as the subject of rights and duties. Okay? You know, we don't live in a sovereign nation in the way that we think of it. We live in a corporation. We live in a business, and we are part of a business, and we are traded as a commodity in that business. And that's the way it's been for a long time. I'm very hopeful, as are many of you, that that's going to change here real fast. Because I think things have been shaken up and shaken out to where we are moving more towards true sovereignty, true freedom, you know, and that's something that I know that we're all praying for and really looking forward to. But, you know, this whole idea of a person being a corporation or part of a corporation or, you know, slave to a corporate entity, if you will, because we really are. We've been enslaved by the things that have been imposed upon us, the different regulations and authoritarian things that have been done to us over the years to tell us that we have to fit into certain boxes or certain molds or certain things, you know, taxes, all these kinds of things. I go on and on. But yeah, I just felt like all of this was such a eye opener just by looking at the word person. And you can research it and do more, and you'll probably get some different assessment out of it than what I'm saying. I'm just kind of rambling on at this point, but see, that's why I do that attunement, you know. And if I get out of my attunement, then I'm in my own head, and I don't want to get too far into my own head here. So I'm going to take a little step back. But think of yourself as a soul instead of as a person. And really explore for yourself what that feels like to be the soul, you know. And some of you are soul searching, and I understand that, and I respect that, and I appreciate that you're here, and hope that some of what I share can help enliven your soul and open your soul up to something. And some might feel soulless. Some might have a feeling of I don't know what's in my soul. I don't know what's in my heart because I feel dead to the world and everything that's happened. And you know, let me offer this piece of advice that even a rock can produce a spark. It just needs another rock to strike up against it to get that spark to release. So I really hope and pray that some of what I put out there creates that spark in you that helps you to ignite in yourself that fire of the soul that really makes you want to be more self-reflective and more self-reliant and really look at the deeper aspects of what the real self means and what it really is, and that we're all part of the divine, and that we're all little bits of God that have been, you know, sprinkled out of that fountain from the one stream. And yeah, so I could go on, but I think it's time to stop. So I really appreciate you guys again being here. We had a great response to the Daily Nugget every day, and I just really appreciate everybody taking the time to listen to these and to imbibe these teachings. And again, I wish everyone a happy new year and a very safe week out there. I think it's going to be an exciting one. So take care. I'm going to leave it with it one more time. Think of yourself as a soul instead of a person. I mean,